The PFL is back. So, welcome back to the Below Average Joe's MMA show. It's time to break down the first of the three events for the second wave of the PFL 2024 regular season. This event will feature heavyweights and women's flyweights. In this video, I'm going to touch on each of the fights that are happening and go over the standings heading into this second wave of fights. What is on the line? What movement can we see? Who needs a big finish? Who just needs to hold their spot? And everything in between. So let's get right into it. PFL regular season, second wave 2024, right now. So first, let's hit on the women's flyweights. Let's show the standings, the current points awarded after that first event, and what's on the line this coming Thursday evening. So as we look at the standings here and the points that were awarded back in the spring for the first wave of the regular season, we have Dakota Ditcheva, last year's 2023 PFL European champion. She entered the regular season this year. She is at the top of the list with a quick 6, as well as Taila Santos and Jenna Bishop. All three of those women got first round stoppages. The order is due to the time in which they finished the fight. Dakota Ditcheva finished Lisa Malden 3 minutes and 54 seconds into the first round. Taila Santos right behind her with the first round finish over Ilara Joanne, 3 minutes and 57 seconds in the first round. And then Jenna Bishop, a Bellator contender, now in the PFL, undefeated, and may I add, got a 4 minute and 15 second submission over Chelsea Hackett. And then rounding out the rankings at that number 4 spot is the most recent, the current even, if you will, Bellator women's flyweight champion and former title challenger in 2 weight classes in the UFC, Liz Carmouche. Now, Liz has 3 points. She got a decision victory in the most recent fights, and Kana Watanabe is at number 5, the outside looking in. She also got a decision. So both of those ladies tied with 3 points, and they, conveniently enough, fight each other on Thursday night. Kana Watanabe was Liz Carmouche's third victim when she transferred over from the UFC to Bellator. She knocked her out in 35 seconds back in June of 2021. So nearly 3 years to the day later, they will have their rematch. Since then, Liz Carmouche not only became the Bellator women's flyweight champion, but she defended the belt 4 separate times with 3 finishes in that time frame. It's been amazing to watch this wave of this career, this resurgence of her career for Liz Carmouche, now at 40 years old, really in her prime, which is crazy in a lower weight class. And at that age, the performances that she's still putting on, can she do it one more time? Can she beat Kana Watanabe a second time to maybe clinch her spot in the playoffs? And since that fight 3 years ago, Watanabe has went 3-1 with her only loss to former women's flyweight champion Ilima-Lei Macfarlane. That was back in April of last year. She's won 2 fights since then, including her first win against Shayna Young in April of the regular season for the PFL. Dakota Ditcheva will be in the co-main event spot on Thursday. She's taking on Chelsea Hackett, who's currently number 7. She lost her first fight, so she's in dire need of not only a victory, but more than likely a finish to try and make the playoffs. Dakota is just looking to extend her perfect record. She's one of the most electric women's fighters in all of mixed martial arts right now. If you haven't tuned in to do a Dakota Ditcheva fight, you need to do so, because at 25 years old, she's 11-0 with 10 finishes. She is a legit threat to, I believe, all of these women in the women's flyweight division. I've heard people in the MMA community kind of complaining that she shouldn't be doing this if the PFL wants to continue building her as the face or one of the faces of their promotion. I couldn't disagree more. I think this is her chance to really prove that she can beat anyone that the PFL puts in front of her. Chelsea Hackett is next up. And then much like Liz Carmouche and Kana Watanabe facing each other, both tied in the rankings, Taila Santos and Jenna Bishop are facing each other. They are tied for second and third place, both with first round finishes back in April. Something's got to give. Taila Santos came over from the UFC after losing her last 2 fights. One was a very close fight with Valentina Shevchenko, one of the best female fighters of all time. in a fight that many people, including myself, felt that she won back in June of 2022 and should have became the UFC champion. And then she lost in August of last year to Erin Blanchfield, which is again, no good losses, but a loss that has aged quite well. Erin Blanchfield right on the cusp of a flyweight title shot in the UFC. And then, as I already mentioned, the first round finish over Lara Joanne in her PFL debut. And Jenna Bishop, a live dog, dare I say. This could be a very, very big upset. She is 7-0 with numerous finishes. Let me get it correct. 4 submissions to her name. The only problem is she's 38 years old. So yeah, 7-0, undefeated record. 4 fights in the LFA, 2 fights in Bellator. Now her debut against Chelsea Hackett, who she finished back in April. She has a good resume. She has good competition. But at 38, is it going to be enough to beat someone in their prime and as dangerous as the 30-year-old Taila Santos, who's 20-3 with 14 finishes? I believe I even had predicted at the beginning of the season Taila Santos was my pick to win it all. I think it's between her and Dakota Ditcheva. I mean, again, Taila Santos damn near beat Valentina Shevchenko, something I don't know if any of these women can say that they could do. Even Liz Carmouche had the chance and lost in the UFC. And for the big boys, the heavyweight division, we have Valentin Moldavksy sitting at number 1 with 6 points, Oleg Popov at second with 5 points, Daniel James at third with 5 points, and Denis Goltsov rounding out the 4 spot with 4 points, which means Goltsov got a third round finish, James and Popov got a second round finish, and Valentin Moldavksy got a quick 6 back in April. Funny enough, this main event between Valentin Moldavksy and Linton Vassell is a trilogy. They are one apiece. Dating back to March 22nd of 2019, Moldavksy beat Vassell via unanimous decision. We fast forward to March 10th of last year. Linton Vassell got the victory with a knockout 3 minutes and 3 seconds in. Now we have the rubber match, and it is the headlining spot with a playoff spot on the line. Linton Vassell lost back in April, so he's in need of not only a victory, but a finish if he wants to guarantee himself a spot. And really, that may not even still be enough in the playoffs. Denis Goltsov made it to the PFL playoffs in 2019, 2021, and 2023, and has fallen short all 3 times. He's looking to make 2024 his year. He's beat Linton Vassell. He is the man that beat Linton Vassell back in April. He finished him in round number 3. He is taking on former title challenger in the UFC, Thiago Santos. And Thiago Santos has yet to win a fight in the PFL since coming over. He fought Rob Wilkinson and lost. That since has been overturned to a no contest. And then he lost to Yoel Romero in February via decision. Now at 40 years old, he has to make a big time splash. And it's just now processing in my brain that Thiago Santos has been entered to the heavyweight division for the regular season. Thiago Santos is fighting at heavyweight this Thursday night against Denis Goltsov. Oof, if it already wasn't hard enough for him so far in the PFL, this might make it that much more dangerous. But what a story it would be if he comes up 2 weight classes from where he was in the UFC and enters himself into the playoffs. Marcelo Golm is looking to not only get a victory, but get a finish to maybe toss his name into the playoffs. He's taken on Tyrell Fortune, who didn't even participate in the first half of the regular season, so an uphill battle for him. Oleg Popov wants to solidify himself a spot in the playoffs. He has 5 points as of right now, and he is taking on Davion Franklin. Davion also not participating in that first half of the season. From what I'm gathering here from this list of fights, it looks like the number 3 ranked or number 3 seeded Daniel James maybe has been pulled from this card. I don't know if it was an injury or an illness or something else. I hadn't seen any news in the community, but he is not listed to fight on this card. He's currently at number 3 with 5 points. With him not fighting, maybe he's out of the entire season. Maybe he's just out of this event and has to be hopeful that no one passes him up. Let me know if you guys saw any of that news and maybe what's to make of that. And for what it's worth, maybe this is some sort of alternate. We have Tim Johnson and Danilo Marques in the heavyweight division. Neither fighter competed in the first half of the season. Maybe they added that in now with Daniel James falling out. So potential new blood, all they need is 1 win and they can get into the playoffs, having an advantage over the other guys that are having to fight twice. It wouldn't be the PFL without some drama, so sorry for the confusion here. I was not expecting that as I hopped in to break down this card. So the heavyweight division looks to have been shaken up quite a bit. We will see how the standings will turn out in the aftermath of this event. But give me all of your predictions for this heavyweight division and the women's flyweight division in the comments below. Who you think will get the victories this week, and who of these divisions do you think may just come out at the end of the year as the champion and $1 million richer? If you enjoyed this breakdown, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss my breakdowns and previews every single week of the biggest and best fights. Not only X's and O's talk, but more importantly, and really especially for the PFL here, I didn't really talk X's and O's. I talk about the storylines. Why is every single fight important, and what is at stake for these fighters as they head into battle? I also recap the most meaningful results from every card every week and give my thoughts and opinions on MMA news and fight announcements. Be sure to join the community on social media at the BAJ MMA and follow on your favorite audio listening platform if you like long form podcast episodes. They release every Friday and Monday on Spotify, Apple, and many more. Enjoy the fights on Thursday. Be sure to check out my UFC Vegas 93 preview dropping on Thursday, or probably on Friday, I guess. My days are all confused because I'm recording this on Wednesday, releasing it on Wednesday, but I recorded UFC on Wednesday, but it's releasing Friday. Anyway, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy all the fights. I'll see you in the next video.